What's up? It's your boy, Coach Herb. We back at it doing this math thing. Today we're going to talk about complementary angles, supplementary angles, and vertical angles. All right. So the first thing we're going to start with are complementary angles. So complementary angles, you'll see the definition is two angles that the sum adds up to 90 degrees. So for instance, in this case, if I add angle A and angle B here, in this right angle, they add up to 90 degrees. Okay, so let's look at an example at first. So in this example, 5r plus 7, 7r minus 1, we don't know how many degrees each one of those are. But we do know, since it's a right angle, this box right here tells us that it's a right angle, which adds up to 90 degrees. And that means both of these, when I add them together, they should equal 90 degrees. So we're going to set up an equation for this. So it's going to be, in parentheses, 5r plus 7 plus 7r minus 1. And when I add both of those together, they equal 90 degrees. Now, you'll notice this is a problem where we just have to go through and solve. So in this case right here, we have to get rid of the parentheses by doing what? Yes, we have to distribute, which means in this case, since there's a number here in front, we're going to add a 1. But if I add this 1 here, you'll notice that when I multiply, it doesn't really change anything. So same thing here. If I just have a 1 in front, a positive 1 in front, it doesn't change anything. That's a positive 7r, and that's a minus 1 equals 90. From this point, we're going to use the boxes. So we have our R box, and we have our number box. In our R box, we have a positive 5r is already on this side, and a positive 7r on this side. In the number box, we already have a positive 90 on this side, but we also have to move over a 7, which changes to a negative 7, and we have to move over the 1 to here, which changes it to a positive 1. When I add up 5r plus 7r, it gives me 12r. I combine these, that gives me 84. Of course, my last step would be to divide by 12, so I get r equals 7. Let's set up this next problem real quick. Again, these two angles add up to 90 degrees because we know there's a little square right here tells us it's a right angle. So we're going to add 2n plus 3n minus 5, and that's going to equal 90. Well, like I said before, the 1 right here, we get rid of the parentheses by putting a 1 there, but that doesn't change anything. So 2n plus 3n minus 5 equals 90. And from there, you use the boxes to solve for n. Same setup on this last problem right here. I have x minus 1 plus x minus 3, and that's going to equal 90. Of course, the 1 in front of both, positive 1 in front of both parentheses means nothing changes. So x minus 1 plus x minus 3 is going to equal 90. And then you use the boxes from there. So next, supplementary angles are going to be very similar to complementary, except supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So if we have a straight line right here, we know a straight line ends up equaling 180 degrees. So if I add up angle A right here and angle B, they add up to 180 degrees. So right here, we have a straight line right here. This angle and this angle make up that straight line. So when I add 4r minus 1 plus 65, that's going to equal 180. Then we solve. Of course, there's a positive 1 in front, so that doesn't change anything. So we're just going to drop down 4r minus 1 plus 65 equals 180. And then we use our boxes to solve for r. Next setup here, we have 5r minus 5 plus 8r plus 3. They're going to add up to 180 since it makes up that straight line here. So then, of course, you have a positive 1 in front of here and a positive 1 in front of here. So both cases, we're just going to drop both of them down. Then after that, we solve for r. Next, we're going to talk about vertical angles. The definition of vertical angles are angles opposite to each other when two lines cross. they're always going to be equal to each other. So here's an example right here. Angle 1 and these two lines cross each other. So angle 1 and angle 3 are across from each other, so they're equal to each other. And angles 2 and angle 4 are across from each other, so they're also equal to each other. So here's our first example. We're going to find the value of x. So right here, these two lines cross each other. So this angle right here, x plus 21, is across from 147. So the way we're going to set it up is going to be x plus 21 is going to be equal to 147. Then you have then you solve for x. So there's a positive 1 in front of the parentheses, so we're going to drop that x plus 21, which equals 147. Then from there, we use the boxes to solve for x. Last example here, okay, line MK crosses line JL. Okay, so in this case, these two angles are crossing each other, which means they're equal to each other. So 2x is going to equal 62. You could have wrote it as 62 equals 2x. Either way you set it up, it's the same thing. Okay, so from there, you should know that your only step, we don't need to move anything over. I can just divide by 2, and x is going to equal 31. Class just ended, so hope y'all have a good day. And as always, go Cowboys.